Welcome. Today we'll be talking about purpose, how to find it, what it is, some misconceptions, and maybe finding a little bit more ease when it comes to it. So we'll just get right into it. Purpose, what is that? What does that even mean? Well, it is something that might not necessarily be real. Hate to give you a spoiler alert or just kind of like a be the buzzkiller, but purpose is a made up meaning and totally fair and fine to do. No one said that you can't, but also just knowing that anything that is made up is not necessarily concrete or truth. So it's most likely going to be a temporarily thing and it might change and it might evolve and doesn't necessarily have uh, like a concrete this is the way forever. I don't know how else to describe it. So, just like many things that have like a label that we put on, purpose is just like one of those things. So, we can find a purpose. We can put purpose on almost anything. It depends on you, it depends on me, it depends on our individual person to decide what we call purpose and what we don't. So, it's such a subjective thing and there's no really right or wrong. So it's really hard to define. And it means something different to all of us, which is totally fine. However, just knowing that it's up to you and it's up to me to do that. Um, so to help kind of alleviate some of the pain around it or like the struggle, I feel like there's a lot of people like wanting to find this purpose. They're like, I want to be this, I want to be here. And it's like trying to get there and trying to be this thing, or it doesn't have to be that hard, I will say. Just your presence is purpose and is purposeful. That is the only purpose of each of us that is like concrete, is like your presence. And so by you showing up, we all think purpose needs to be like, oh, this profound thing in this job. Like, I'm meant to create this healing center and heal all these people. What a purpose. I mean, it sounds great, right? Or I'm meant to be this nonprofit organization and have all this purpose, and sounds amazing. And there are some people that are doing that, but our purpose is no less, no greater, depending on our job. It's how we show up to our job and what we're doing every single day. So, purpose, it's almost like to me a waste of time to even try to figure it out or like, define it and be that, because it's so that puts this label on something that doesn't have to be that way. Like, it can also pull you away from your purpose because you're trying to do this thing, but you showing up is the thing. So it can be very deterring, distracting. And so that is a number one misconception, is that purpose has to be this big, profound thing. And it's really not that complicated. Purpose also is not necessarily measurable. I heard this once, that we never really know the impact we have on someone until we're crossed over and we can kind of like see back in time and review, like kind of like a ripple effect, how we affect people. And we don't necessarily know while we're here how your purpose and you just being you, showing up, has affected somebody that day. So Whether that you're standing in line and you said something or was really nice to somebody, or whatever you did, you paid for someone, or even you just made eye contact with somebody, that was so purposeful. You being there at that moment was purpose. So misconception number 2 is that we can, like, we really even know. Sometimes we don't even know the purpose that our role is, or how the impact of our role has played. So it's hard to get you when you get hung up when you're trying to measure it. Oh, how purposeful was I? Am I in a purposeful job? You know what I mean? Like, that's not the point. And you can kind of get hung up on that, and we'll never know some of these things. So showing up, and there's a level of like unknown that we have to feel comfortable with to really feel like we have purpose, actually feel it, because you feel that interaction with someone, or and being okay with that unknown of it, and almost like hope and having like trust, I guess, and faith that like you are impacting somebody in a positive way. So let's see what else I have. It doesn't have to be complicated. That's also a misconception. It could be just a simple gesture that you do daily. You also don't have to have this career that like looks like, oh, I'm a school teacher. You know, it can be, you can be whatever you're doing right now. You could be a designer, and you're having such beautiful purpose. You can kind of find purpose in everything you do, because it's how our energy is that's behind it. So another misconception is that like once I define it, that's it, like I found my purpose. Not necessarily true, which is why, again, not necessarily important to even really define, because it's changing. Once you do define it, guaranteed it changes, guaranteed. Or, just morphs and changes as you change, or the needs change of people. Like, it's just how it is. Like, our purpose is not always like, oh, it's not a destination. Let's see. What else can I say about it? It also doesn't have to be for someone else. So I think a big thing is that we want to like help so much, and I think that's like a portion of our lives where we spent wanting to help, but then there's also another portion of our lives where we want to be really selfish, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some of us came here to be selfish and just enjoy, and your joy then might impact someone else. That's your purpose. So like, I think having this feeling of and the idea of what purpose is another distraction and just a hang up for you, because it can be about you. It doesn't have to be about anyone else. And honestly, I think that's kind of like the most lasting purpose you can have, is like how you show up and how your energy is. And if you are simply just wanting to find joy daily and that's your purpose, then that is amazing. Or if you want to make people smile, if you want to just live freely, I mean, those are so amazing things that inspire other people and spread out, ripple out amazing energy towards everyone else. So I hope this is helpful, and curious as always to hear your comments. If it doesn't resonate, totally fair and fine. This is for entertainment purposes. It's nothing take it or leave it always. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.